All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome. It's great to see you here, and I hope you had a great Memorial Day weekend. I'm Essie Moadi. I'm the founder of Products That Count. So I'll start by telling you a couple things about Products That Count. One is we're one of the large networks of product managers, one of the largest in the world. We have online programs. If you go to our website, including podcasts, including videos, blog posts, and then we have offline programs in 5 cities. So every month, once a month, we get anywhere from 1 to 300 people, depending on the city. So if you ever travel, check out our newsletter, and you may be able to attend some of our events. The programs are made possible by our amazing partners. So I'll start with our host tonight, Yelp. Yelp has been with us from day one. So they really took a risk, and I think it paid off because they've been with us for about 3.5 years. In case you're wondering, they're hiring every kind of people, including engineers. And if you want to talk to them, the sign Yelp in the back over there is where you'll find their amazing recruiters. I've worked with the folks at Yelp since we started Products That Count 3.5 years, and they're an amazing team. They're a great, great place to work. So I really encourage you to check them out. And then we have 3 other partners. We have Amplitude. We're also an investor in Amplitude. They're a great partner of ours, and we love their product. The product that they offer is an analytics service for web, mobile, like pretty much any channel, and they have some awesome customers. So definitely, if you're looking at implementing analytics on your product, check them out. Then the next partner we have is mParticle, and mParticle is a data layer underneath analytics. So garbage in, garbage out. If you don't have good quality data, it's actually hard to improve the quality of your product and your offering and your experience. So mParticle takes care of harmonizing data across many different systems and applications. And then Pragmatic Marketing has been a partner of ours for a long time, and they offer great high-quality trainings for product folks. So they have regular trainings in San Francisco and a bunch of other cities. I encourage you to check them out. So one thing that is really unique about Products That Count is that we invite an executive in product to help us answer the question, what does it take to build a great product? I believe that everyone can build great products. And prior to running Products That Count, I built products myself at large and small companies, like large ones like Facebook and small ones like my own, which you wouldn't know. And after doing that for 12 years, when people would ask me, like, what's a great product? I didn't quite have the answer. So I figured, okay, if we pull a bunch of experts together, maybe we'll figure that out. And so that's basically how Products That Count was born. And we ask every single one of our C-level, VP-level speakers to share something that they've never shared with us or publicly before. And so I met Meghan about a year ago. I think you attended one of our executive events, and was really impressed with her. I thought she had built this amazing product against all odds, GoPro, and asked if she could share her story. And so I don't think you speak very often, Meghan, do you? All right, so it's a real privilege to have you tonight, and I'm really, really looking forward to hear the story. So welcome.
Can you guys hear me okay? Okay, so before I say anything, all GoPro presentations start and end with a video. So we're going to do that. Let's see.
We're here, jump with the dirt jumps. There is my best friend, Jack. Show your face. Hi. There's Jack. Here's me. I know, it's funny. And we're about to do a cool run. Here we go. Just a little conversation. Ooh, this is gonna be smooth. We have. Oh shoot! I messed up.
Up and up.
Doesn't it feel a little weird when you first start riding a bike? We're gonna do a few more runs. Down, step up, step down, kicker, trick jump, bam. Step up and table. There we go. Jack's in front of me. We're just dropping in these. So I'm gonna come down this first step down, go over the second one, then we're gonna do a nice whip over the third one, the trick jump, then we're gonna come over the step up, over the table, and there's our run. We'll step down, and then kicker, trick jump, we'll step up, and then table. See you guys. Did you hear me commentating?
Yeah.
So that little dude's name is Rex, and that video was submitted by Rex's parents. And they're one of millions of people in our community that submit videos all the time to GoPro Awards. And I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. But thank you for having me. Thank you, SC, for inviting me. I'm excited to be here. My name is Megan, and I led our product management, UX, and analytics teams at GoPro. And so today I'm excited. SC said I don't do this that often, but it's a privilege to share with you guys, product people and entrepreneurs and business people, a little bit about GoPro and what's gone on behind the scenes. So I'm going to share a bit about our history and those early years that really led to our IPO. I'm going to talk about some tough lessons that we learned along the way, and then how really 16 years of dedication and passion and a very engaged user base kind of built GoPro's products and brands into one of the most beloved in the world. So excited to be here, and thank you for having me. So to start, as all good stories start, you have to go back a little bit and go back to the history of where we began. And you can't talk about GoPro without talking about this guy. So this guy is Nick Woodman. He was our founder and CEO, or is our founder and CEO. And he's an incredibly charismatic and passionate individual who embodies what GoPro is all about. If you were to ask, hey, what would the founder of GoPro look like? This is probably exactly what you'd imagine. And so GoPro really began back in 2002. Nick and his wife, but then girlfriend, were backpacking in Australia. And Nick's an avid surfer, and he was really frustrated because he couldn't get any of the shots he wanted on a surfboard. The only people who could get cool shots of themselves were the pro surfers because they could afford it. And you either had to have like your buddy standing on the beach trying to film you out in the water, or someone bobbing in the water next to you trying to get the shot, and it was nearly impossible. And so Nick came up with a really simple idea. He came up with this idea to make a wrist strap and attach it to your wrist, and put, for those of you that remember disposable cameras, put one of those in a kind of waterproof casing and put it on his wrist so that when he's in the water surfing, he could point the camera at his buddy or point it at himself to get shots that he couldn't before. And so fast forward many years to November of 2009. And this was a super important time for GoPro because we launched the first HD camera. And this was an incredible product from an image quality standpoint and a durability standpoint. But what was so amazing about it at the time is that it was the first time that you could bring someone into the action of what you were doing. It was the first time there was a point of view, a new point of view camera that people were able to see. And so people like the surfers and the motorcycle riders and the action bikers and all those guys all of a sudden could access this camera that was affordable to them, and they could get shots that they couldn't otherwise get. And that was how GoPro really started, and that was the beginning of the hockey stick growth years that we were going to go through. But it really started way back in 2002 with an idea from Nick, incredibly passionate and enthusiastic. He spent a ton of time, years and years, with his mother's sewing machine. Not sure doing what exactly, but sewing a lot of different wrist straps, a lot of different types of material. And then this was born in 2009. And so this set up a really good foundation for the company. We had an incredibly passionate passionate founder and an incredible product. And these really provided us the right foundation. But what happened then was our timing was impeccable. So I'm going to talk a minute about what happened here. We call it the social media tailwind. It was 2010 and was the beginning of the social media movement. So we had this great product, but at this point in time, social media was just starting to take off. And the confluence of these events together is really what started to sweep GoPro up to enormous growth. So this is probably my ugliest slide I have, I'll warn you, my graph. But this, you can really see here how GoPro sales actually completely mirrored YouTube views, which is incredible. And I specifically remember, there was a lot of content that our niche users were starting to put out, and GoPro was starting to grow and grow. And our first video that went viral, I still remember, and we call it internally Fireman Kitty. So I'm going to play it for you really quick.
Let's get the water on that fire. Where's Lieutenant Johnson? Copy 3204 into the building. Is everyone else accounted for?
Lovers in the audience because I heard a few gasps of, is she about to show us a dead cat? So this video went viral. The fireman posted on YouTube and it went viral. And we learned a few things from this video. The first was the power that our user-generated content was going to have in defining our brand and our products. The second thing we learned was that our customers could actually do better marketing than we could. And the third thing we learned from a product standpoint was we weren't just making products for people who were using the products. We were also designing products for the audience that was going to consume the content from those products. And that's been a pillar for us throughout our product development over the last decade. And so we've got our passionate founder and foundation of the company. We had impeccable timing with the social media tailwind. And that brings me to this third pillar, which is our community. Now, what I've kind of been describing to you might sound very obvious. You're like, well, duh. So someone buys our product, they post their content, their friends and family or social media following see that content, they want to get in on it, so they go buy GoPro products. And we basically took all that and defined it into our business model, which is the virtuous cycle is what we call it. And it's really a flywheel that feeds GoPro's business and feeds the marketing engine behind GoPro. And I think at first it was really scary for us to let go of our brand. It can be very scary to kind of have to let that go. But we quickly realized how important this community was going to be for us. And from a product development standpoint, we had lots of ideas of where we could take the product and what kind of product roadmap we could build. But we really realized that our customers were some of our best product people. They took the product to places that we couldn't have even dreamed of taking it. And they came up with some of the most amazing ideas that we could then use and help feed into our community. And so we really let this flywheel spin, and we were able to focus our efforts in other areas. And so one of the areas that we focused on was influencers and athletes. And again, this might sound obvious, but people follow people. People are inspired by other people. People want to know what people think of them. And so focusing our marketing efforts around influencers and athletes while we let the flywheel spin with our community was incredibly impactful. And it also was impeccable timing again on behalf of GoPro, because it was the rise of YouTube stars. It was the rise of social influencers. And so the confluence of all of these things together just started to fuel this virtuous cycle in the business and really take it to heights we hadn't even dreamed of. And the other area we were able to focus was around content and what sort of entertainment we wanted to put out. And so GoPro has 3 types of content. The first type of content is user-generated content. And that's content like what you saw in the very beginning from Rex, that little guy on the bike, where customers just produce it and they put it out themselves. The second type of content we have is user-generated content that GoPro's curated. So we see something that someone's already put out, and we want to make it even more spectacular. And so one of my favorite examples of curated UGC, as we call it, is a video called Pelican Learns to Fly, and it takes place in Tanzania. I'm going to play it for you really quick.
He came here about 3 months ago. He swam in off the lake after a big storm. He couldn't fly, and he's lost his parents. Come on, my boy, you're going to go for a fly. Okay, spread your wings. Spread your wings. My boy. We've actually had to teach him to fly by running up and down the beach, flapping our arms.
So I'm still not entirely sure how they got the camera on the Pelican. But that was a video that was submitted and put into the GoPro. They tagged it as GoPro. Our entertainment team found that video and fell in love with it and kind of took it to the next level to tell a bigger story and posted that, and it got 6 million views. And they actually just did a sequel to it. I found out that has 7 million views on YouTube. And I think it's called Pelican Learns to Fish, I want to say. I don't know, you'll have to check it out. And so the third type of content we have is what we call G-Pop, GoPro Original Productions. And this is where GoPro actually went out to do shoots and make its own videos and forms of entertainment. And so this one is a little bit different, what you'll see. I'm going to play this really quick. This was done in 1 day.
Pole vaulting is a rush. It's so frustrating, but I think that's what makes it so fun. It's like a puzzle you get to piece together every single time. And technically, there's no limit as to how high the bar can go. So it gets you pretty hyped. When it really comes down to it, it's like 7 seconds of tunnel vision. There are a lot of things to think about, but really I just try and keep it simple. Everyone says we pole vaulters are crazy. And I'd have to agree.
So that one is Allison. She's in high school. And this video came out the same week as, and I'm looking at my audience right now, as Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Anybody? And the season finale of Better Call Saul. And this video got more views than either of those did in their live broadcast. And I know that that's kind of a funky metric to use, but it gives you an idea of the power behind a video like that. And GoPro was on the kind of cutting edge of what was going to become short-form video entertainment. People were starting to consume media in these short little videos like this. And we were on the very forefront of that. And so it was very, very cool to see that. And so between investing our marketing in influencers and athletes, letting the flywheel spin with our community, and then focusing on these specific types of content, we've created a huge global audience that companies dream about getting to. And we have over 28 million people following us on social media. If you look at another CE brand, like if you look at Apple on Instagram, for example, I think they have 5.5 million followers, just to kind of give you guys an idea of where GoPro is in terms of its overall community and community engagement. So, importance of community is the third thing I wanted to talk about. And so the last couple things I want to talk about here are around our business and things we learned from a business standpoint. The first is we IPO'd. We IPO'd at $24 a share, initial public offering. We thought our stock would grow by about $10, more or less. And our stock got to $98 in 5 months. It was insane. Incredible, but extremely distracting and extremely challenging to keep the company and employees and teams focused on what we needed to do and what we needed to execute on. And it was a huge distraction. And so one big learning for us here was the importance of, going public was great. It gives us a report card every quarter. It gives all employees and even some of our consumers, skin in the game of how GoPro does. But it's very, very hard when you first do that IPO. You have to keep everyone focused on what the long-term vision is and how we're going to execute on that. And the market and the share price is a bit of noise. And so this was a really exciting time, but also brought a lot of unique challenges with it. And I'm sure some of you who have lived through IPOs have experienced something similar. The second thing is very near and dear to my heart, which is holding onto your culture as you're scaling. In any big growth story, when you go from being a startup to a huge workforce of GoPro at its peak, where you're about 2,000 people, how do you preserve where you came from, especially somewhere so unique like GoPro, while staying open to new ideas and new people and new ways of doing things? And this was a huge challenge, but I think GoPro actually did an incredible job. I mean, we have a very unique culture. I'm sure people poke fun at us we drink a lot of Red Bull and people say dude and stoked, and I've probably got enough fist pounds and high fives to last me a long time. But it's really a place of passion and where we came from and where Nick started the company from, and making friends and doing what you love. All these things we've managed to preserve despite scaling so large and improving along the way. And so that's been another big learning for us. So staying focused and staying true to who you are over time. And then the fifth thing that I want to talk about was a core lesson that we learned early on. We needed to have a rock solid product. We need to deliver amazing specs, whether it's low light or video resolutions or durability. We had to be on the forefront of technology and deliver a great product. But none of these specs was the reason why anyone was buying our product. When you think about GoPro, do you think about this? Or do you think about things like this, or this, or my favorite image, this one? We're selling something much bigger than a camera. You know, most people aren't going to buy a GoPro because they're super excited about our low light performance. There's definitely people out there that do that, and I am proud of our products. But a lot of people are out there buying it because they love what it stands for. They saw a video and they want to be like the person in the video. Or they want to live a bigger life. They want to spend more time outside. They want to be more present. These are all aspirational things that GoPro stands for, and that's really what we're selling and what we're talking about to our consumers. We don't go to market with a lot of chatter around specs like you'll see a lot of other gadgets go with. We go to market with a much bigger message, a much more inspiring message, and that's why we want people to buy our products. So those are our big 5 things, which kind of brings me to where we are today. And GoPro's had a lot of hardships along the way. There's been ups and downs, but we have an incredible brand and community around GoPro today that we're really proud of. It's continuing to grow. You can see, I won't go through all these metrics, but you know, Instagram, you can see quarter over quarter, it's grown, I think, 20%, but it's a highly engaged audience, and we're continuing to see these people put out GoPro content and love our products. And on the product side, we continue to innovate on the products. We deliver year after year cutting-edge products. We've gotten into new areas like spherical, which is new technology for us, as well as investing in things like machine learning to make storytelling easier. So we have a really strong product roadmap that's coming. And so the company is continuing to stay focused on what matters, which is our customers, our community, and our products. And so that kind of brings me to the end. And just a little bit about myself and my story with GoPro is I joined Nick in 2010, right around the launch of HD camera. Nick, being the charismatic person that he is, talked me out of leaving my perfectly great job at Amazon to join him. And everybody thought I was crazy and told me it was a terrible idea, which I remind my husband all the time. And so I've been with the company for about 8 years, and it's been an incredible journey of lots of highs and lows. And I've actually left GoPro about 2 weeks ago to start pursuing some new opportunities. But it's an incredible place to work and make friends and work on interesting projects. And I do have to give a shout out because they are also hiring. I know the Yelp people are here, but I want to talk to people too. And it's just an incredible company, and it's been through a lot. And I'm really proud to have been a part of it. So like I said, GoPro story, we start and we end with a video. So we'll end with a final video. It's slightly out of season, but I love skiing, so I'm going to play it anyway. Cool. Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Again, I think there's been more applause in this talk than any other talk. We're going to take questions now. If you don't mind, just repeat the question.
Sure, yeah. Any questions? Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you so much for the presentation. I was quite curious about what you but like probably wouldn't experience it as well. If you don't mind me asking, what other experience that you really liked and what that you probably would never had?
Yeah. So the question was, what is the experiences I had at GoPro that I love that I might not have had at Amazon? Amazon was a great place to work. I had been at a startup before that called Jawbone. And so when I had left Jawbone and came to Amazon, I wanted to work for a big company because I'd never worked for a big company. And then when Nick came along, I was like, oh, I really like the startup, so maybe I want to do that again. And you know, everything's easier in hindsight. Like I'm standing up here today telling you guys about this amazing story I had at GoPro, but you know, odds are against startups. You know, 9 times out of 10, this isn't the story. And so I feel extremely lucky and blessed to have been a part of it. And I think, you know, I was early in my career, and so taking that risk early on to go to somewhere like GoPro, and I got the exposure I probably wouldn't have gotten at a company like Amazon in terms of, you know, you can take on a lot of different jobs, you can learn a lot. And I love building things, whether it's a product or a team or a business. And so being able to be very hands-on with that for me at GoPro was the most impactful, I think. Yeah. Yeah.
So you guys had this amazing product during the social media explosion.
Yes.
And like being in the right place at the right time. What were like the 1 or 2 biggest mistakes or recoveries team made during that tailwind? Did anything like capsize you?
Nothing capsized us. Or sorry, the question was with our great timing of the tailwind and our great product, was there a point in time or anything that really kind of blocked us or capsized us? I think I touched on this a little bit, but you know, when you build something from the ground up, especially, you love it. You know, it's your child almost, and being able to let go of the brand and let go of where people were taking the products, that was probably what we struggled with the most originally. Was it started to explode, and your initial reaction is like, oh my gosh, we don't want it to grow so fast, and let's try to stop it and protect it. But you kind of realize, hey, this is going to do what it wants to do, and people are actually taking this to places that we couldn't have taken it ourselves, and so you kind of had to embrace it. Yeah. Yeah.
I have a couple of questions. First one is about the difference. What is the difference between the GoPro Omni and the GoPro Fusion? And
You sound like you're a GoPro product user.
I am.
Good.
I look like one. But,
so he was asking the difference between the GoPro Omni and the GoPro Fusions. The GoPro Omni was our 6-camera rig that we launched, I think, a couple of years ago. It enabled you to get 360 capture. And so the Fusion is really kind of a replacement for that Omni rig. So the Fusion is full spherical capture like Omni was, but at a much lower price tag. So you don't need all 6 cameras anymore. You just need Fusion, which is $600.
And I'm a filmmaker who has like used GoPro for not just like skating videos, but commercials and like narrative films as well, because the image quality is great. I just want to know about the GoPro's hiring process for filmmakers. Is that something?
Yeah. So first of all, thank you for using our products so much. And secondly, he was asking what the hiring process is for filmmakers. So we have an in-house entertainment team, and they are usually hiring people. A lot of that might be part-time or contractors, kind of as we're doing productions, and it's all on our website, which you could check out. Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
Can you share maybe a product experience within GoPro that had a lot more hurdles than you originally anticipated?
We tried to make this thing called a drone. Well, we didn't try to make it, we made it. We made an awesome drone, to be honest. But making something fly was extremely challenging. Very, very challenging. And that product, you know, GoPro, we're all really proud of that product. You know, it's versatile, it was really easy to use. It was a really strong product. It was probably number 2 in the market compared to DJI. And so that was a product that it sold really well. To be number 2 in the drone market is actually not a bad place to be. But what we were up against was just bigger than we could take on. I mean, DJI has 20,000 people in Asia. They're vertically integrated. Regulations around drones are getting really hostile. And so just kind of when we looked forward at where we could take that drone roadmap and what it could be, it was just more than we could really support from the business. So, yeah. I'm going to start over here and go this way. How about that?
I was very curious. I can imagine that you have probably several or many different product teams.
Yes.
So how do they integrate with one another, or do they just kind of do their development cycle? I mean, is there any interaction between them? Or?
Yeah, yeah. So the question was, we must have multiple product teams and product development teams for that matter, which we do. You know, GoPro, obviously, we started as a hardware company. We worked in a very waterfall type way. You mentioned the words agile around like our firmware engineering and hardware engineering teams, and they have a heart attack. And then we have our software teams because we make a mobile application and we do a subscription service, and they work in an agile way. And you say waterfall around these guys, and they like won't even talk to you. So taking these kind of two areas of how these different teams work and trying to bring those together was definitely a challenge for us, especially over the last few years. And you kind of learn how to fit the pieces together and hybrid those teams. I mean, you know, lots of companies struggle with this, Amazon and Apple, and we're in a pretty good place now where, you know, the hardware is the long pole. No question about that. And there's just certain dates you have to hit on a hardware schedule. And so the software team, you know, they know when they need to have the application, the app ready to test with the camera. You know, that might be 6 months before launch, but it has to be ready then. And so you kind of pick those points of where you know things need to be ready. And then from there, each of the teams can kind of separate and do what they need to do. So I don't think there's a perfect way to solve it, but we're doing okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. You.
So, curious to know, how did you guys decide what to build? And how did following along to research methods play into that?
How to build in general?
How
Or?
to build products, how to build features, like how did you figure out what the user wanted? Because being an active skier, I think a lot of people didn't know about the GoPros until they were everywhere. And it's kind of like an iPhone. Built a market that didn't exist before. So when you're pioneering an industry like that, how do you figure out what the user wants?
Yeah. Well, you're lucky because right down there, Liz is, you can raise your hand, Liz, runs consumer insights for us, so she can keep me honest here. I would say it's changed a lot over the years. In the early days, you know, we didn't have a consumer insights team. We were really the testers. The people at the company, like Nick and all his friends and all the people who worked there were so passionate about what we were doing that I would say what users wanted and what was needed was really developed internally around what we wanted and what we needed. But as you saw GoPro kind of expand to not be so niche, I mean, you see people use it in cooking and music and all these amazing places that we started to say, wow, we actually don't know best for our customers. And so we brought on a consumer insights team and a user research team. And so now we do much more work around, I mean, Liz just got back from doing panel studies around what people are interested in. And just there's a whole world there of things that we're learning. And we continue to learn. And I think for us now, we're getting so much more information than we've ever had before. It's now more around how we prioritize that. And like I said, with hardware, you know, hardware, you're working 2 years out, right? And so things you learn now, sure, you'd love to like incorporate right away, but a lot of time it's things that we're gonna have to see further out. And so trying to balance that with what we think is gonna be important in 2 or 3 years.
It's a world
Yeah.
when you don't have yet everything built and you haven't succeeded just yet. Going viral.
Yeah.
There's a lot of time for this. How do you deal with those kinds of
That's a good question. The question is, how do you deal with the lows or when things weren't going well? And it's one of those things I feel like in hindsight, you've blocked all the bad times out. It's all good now. But there were really hard moments of like, is this going to succeed? Are we doing the right things? Is this going to hit the market or is it not? And I think for me and just my time at GoPro, what really helped me was the people. All the people at GoPro were so authentic and passionate and cared so much that being able to kind of lean on each other and rely on each other is probably what got me through that. Yeah.
So GoPro obviously created this market and defined the product space and had this beautiful like ramp-up curve. But in today's market, there's a lot of competitors now, and the community is still very strong. But it's not to keep the company going; it's incremental sales. So after the IPO, how has the definition of product changed? Because you said that you're trying to fight that urge of specs, right? You don't want to compete on specs. You want to compete with the community and keeping that loyalty. So has that changed the methodology internally and how you define product?
Yeah, it definitely, some of it's changed and some of it hasn't. I talked a little bit about the drone. We've had a few different areas that we've explored. And in the end, we've come back to our core of what GoPro does best, which is really our cameras, and delivering cameras at different price points for specific markets. And again, having more data now around who's buying our products, what's important to them, what do they care about. Like the person buying our entry-level camera is a very different person than the person buying our flagship high-end camera who cares about 4K. Your entry-level person probably doesn't really know what frame rate they're shooting in. And so we've taken a lot more care in, there's kind of the base GoPro features, like we need to have a super durable camera that delivers amazing image quality, and we never let that falter. But then we can start to tailor different price points and products to what those people actually care about. And so that's really where we've started to go with our product roadmap.
Have you ever thinking about investing in user-generated content versus curated user-generated content? How did you balance building better tools for your consumers versus just doing it for them?
Will you explain that a little bit more?
I guess in the user-generated content, I can see a world where people need better tools or better hardware or software to make better pictures. The curated one, you can just go out there and say, you don't need to edit it, just film it, give it to us, and we'll handle more of the curation. And I think you probably need a different set of tools to do that.
Yeah, so there's a lot of different things we've... Oh yeah, sorry. So the question was how we kind of thought about the investment in user-generated content versus GoPro's more curated UGC. And we, over the years, we've had tons of ideas on different things that we could pursue there. And one program that there's tons of startups that have actually done things like this for GoPro, where you can upload all your GoPro content, a video editor will take all that content and make a highlight reel basically for you, sync to music, and they'll send it back to you for $1,000 or something. And so we've actually seen a lot of those, and we've looked at the business models of them. We even looked at one internally and betaed it, but the business wasn't there, surprisingly. We did think that could be a big thing for GoPro, is like, hey, you go use the product and then put all your content up and we'll do it for you. But the market really wasn't there. And so what we've realized more is, kind of leverage what's already out there in the ecosystem for GoPro. So we focus on our app and making a really easy storytelling solution for people. And for the more pro editors and stuff, we let them go use Adobe and some of the more advanced programs. And we're not going to try to compete with that. Those are great programs to edit in. So yeah. Come back over there one sec.
Back at the start when GoPros were proof of concepts, were they big or were they small with like lesser quality? How was the dream of the realized products that were sold, the proof of concept, probably not a product equivalent back then?
Yeah. I actually took out the slide. I had a whole slide of like cameras through evolution of time. But it started with the disposable camera, which obviously wasn't that good, and then moved to more of the standard def cameras, and then getting more to like a high def camera. And so where Nick kind of made the leap from buying off-the-shelf cameras to finding an actual manufacturer in China who was making, 5-megapixel camera. That's really where that jump happened of much higher quality images. And then you were dealing, he was basically taking that and putting it with the wrist mount and the housing and whatnot, and really made that leap to an actual product more than just an off-the-shelf wrist strap with a disposable camera.
And during that process, did he have to get multiple seed funding rounds to get to there? So was he reliant on his charisma to sort of
Yeah. He didn't, and that's what's so amazing about how he started this company is he bootstrapped it. He did take his first round of funding in 2010 just to help fuel the business, but it was minimal. And so he really kind of, when he got to more of that 2008, 2009 timeframe where he was having cameras and some mounts, and he was actually going to trade shows and selling them. I think he made, I don't remember which year, but they made about $350,000 that year. And he was like, we've made it, this is it. Little did he know it was about to become a $1 billion business. But he really bootstrapped it from early on. When the company hit late 2009, 2010, and that HD camera came out, that's when the hockey stick growth just started, because it was all your niche people of surfers and mountain bikers, but it started to grow even bigger to more mainstream use. And so that's when he really had to move to more of a scalable manufacturing model in China. So, yeah. You see Santa Barbara.
Yes. If you were talking to your 2009 self, or writing a letter to your 2009 self about the things you did that made you successful over the next 8 years, what would you say? And maybe throw in the things that maybe you wish you had done better, but mainly, what did you do well over these last 8 years, you personally?
Yeah. So the question is, what would I tell my 2009 self that I did well? I think for me personally, my capacity and drive to learn and stay challenged was the number one thing. When you're at a startup, there's never-ending work if you want it. And so I think being willing to take things on, learn things that are new, and continuously challenge yourself has been a theme for me throughout my career. Even as you move to managing teams and organizations, it's one of those things where I think if you stop learning and stop challenging yourself, you stop really growing, and that's probably the biggest thing that had an impact on me in my career.
What do you wish you had learned a little more quickly than you did?
I wish someone had told me about the 80-20 rule. I think early on I was skewed more on the perfectionist side of, oh my gosh, we have to get everything done and it all has to be perfect. And I think especially from a product standpoint, you realize sometimes that shipping and getting it out and having it be really good, even if it's not, it's missing this one, logo mark that you would have loved to have. I think having known that earlier would have been, saved me a lot of heartache. Yeah.
Back in 2004, 2005, and certainly before that, there were videos that, of extreme sports niche stuff. Yeah. And they were very dramatic and very GoPro-y. Who was making those, and where did they go? Whoever was making the cameras and the equipment that made all these groovy kind of, Red Bull fueled extreme sports adventure films.
I think they were mostly, so the question was, in the early days, 2004, 2005, there were some videos out there that looked GoPro-esque, and where did those come from, and where did they go? I'm not sure. I think, my guess is a lot of them were pro videographers who were out there on the beach with a huge setup, probably $10,000 to $20,000 of equipment, trying to film and make those videos over several hours. So I think, GoPro just disrupted that market of the action sports. Yeah.
You said a big moment was when you decided to build the community and let it go and not protect it. What was the road that you didn't take when you let it go? You didn't protect the ground. What could you have done to make it more focused than you did when you decided to?
So, well, let me repeat it and see if I'm understanding. What would have been the other route if we didn't kind of give our community the freedom to do what they do? I think the other route would have really been that GoPro curates all its own content, right? That all the GoPro stuff you see would just be stuff that we've made. And we wouldn't have the program, the community we have where everyone's submitting content. And we have something called GoPro Awards where you can even win money and win products if you have the best content. And so I think really just kind of freeing up our entire community and saying, hey, you guys know best, use it how you want, and we're gonna support you and embrace you with that.
One more question.
Yeah.
What are your attempts to enter the mainstream prosumer camera market?
I didn't quite hear you. Say that one more time.
What are attempts to enter the prosumer camera market and compete against Nikon, Canon, or other auxiliary markets like
No, not really. I think those so the question was, do we think about entering more prosumer markets to compete with? Are you thinking like DSLRs and RED cameras and those? We didn't. It's really outside of who we are in our core market, and like RED makes incredible cameras, and Nikon makes incredible cameras, and that wasn't really a market we felt we could disrupt and compete in, whereas we could really own where we were. And so we really tried to focus and stay true to what we were doing and what we could do really well.
Meghan, thank you very much.
Sure. Thank you, guys.
It was a treat. I really, really enjoyed learning about that story and the importance of everything that's not the technical aspects of product, right? So really interesting. So what we're going to do now is if you have something you'd like to share with this community, you're hiring, you're looking for a job, you're looking for testers, you want to share some important information with us, please gather up here. We're going to do shout outs, and each of you has like 10 seconds or so to share their update. There are goodies for the brave ones who start off, and then after that it's usually hard to stop. So please gather up now. Give me just one sec. I'm going to let people gather. And please gather up now. Sometimes people are like, oh, I'll do it after all. Just gather up now and go for it. While you gather up, I'm going to tell you about our next event. So next month, I'm hosting the head of product at Slack, Joel Walters, who's going to talk about how he grew Slack. He heads up growth there with empathy. And so it's on June 27th. Slack is one of the very popular companies that people want to hear from. So if you want to grab, I think there's maybe like 2 or 3 early bird tickets left. So grab it now. There are still a bunch of general tickets. So anyways, any more candidates for shout outs? Come on. Come on over.
Hello, everyone. I am Carlos Vadillo. I work for Redshift Digital. We're one of the sponsors for the event. And just wanted to let everybody know that we are hiring for UX and UI. We're also hiring researchers. And if you guys want to talk to us about building innovative products, come and talk to me afterwards. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Yoon Gon. I'm actually a current MBA student at Hull International Business School. It's actually close to Pier 23, I think. But right now, I'm actually working as an intern as a blockchain company. But I'm actually the president of the product management club at school as well. So as an MBA student, I'm actually interested in looking for a job in product management, or if not, like as a business analysis. And also, we're also looking for like really guest speakers to come to us because we have a lot of students who are interested in product management as well. So if you have the time, I'll be very happy to talk to you. Thanks.
I'm Meghan from GoPro again. GoPro is hiring consumer insights and Liz, raise your hand again. Talk to Liz. And UX, Steve is here from our UX team. And so if any of you are experts in those areas, let us know.
Hello, my name is Dave Talene Lawton. I'm up from UC Santa Barbara, and I'm the Career Development Manager for our new Masters of Technology Management program. But the reason and you're welcome to talk to me about that if you're interested, but the reason I'm up here is I have all my students use the book, Designing Your Life. I know most of you have probably seen that book, but if you're wondering how to get into product management and what specific steps you want to take, that book is one avenue that will probably work for many of you.
Hi, I didn't know this would be an opportunity, but this is very welcome. I'm John Dodini. I head up business development and mostly product partnerships for an animated GIF and video platform, JiffyCat. We've grown to 180 million users in 3 years, and we are hiring product designers and engineers. So if you want to work in the area of content enablement and great products around that, feel free to talk to me. I'll stick around because I want to talk about product with lots of people.
All the way over there. Yeah, hello everybody. My name is Jaime Fernandez. I'm actually just graduating from undergrad. I'm actually from Colombia. I've studied and done projects in Dubai, China, UK, and here. I'm looking for some experience, maybe an internship or something. If anybody knows something in product or project management, I'll be more than interested in talking. Thank you very much.
Awesome. So, too late.
Just in time. I'm Maddie, and I'm on the product marketing team at GoPro, and we're also hiring a product marketing manager. So come talk to me if you're interested.
Awesome. Thank you. So in your inbox, you should have an email asking you to give us feedback. We take feedback super seriously. We measure the Net Promoter Score of every event. We share the feedback with our speakers so that they can learn and continue to deliver great content and best practices. So please take a minute to fill it out. And then there's another half hour to enjoy lots of pizza, beer, lots of awesome people. I hope to see you next month.